Some popular K-dramas desperately need a second season to wrap up open-ended mysteries, give their characters a proper ending, or continue a story that's just too valuable to let go of. Unfortunately, as much as we might hope for our favorite shows to have fulfilling conclusions, not every K-drama has the perfect ending. Even masterpiece K-dramas have shifted more and more towards open-ended finale episodes, wrapping things up enough to satisfy viewers while leaving the door open for more episodes. This allows more flexibility when streamers and networks decide whether to pick up a show for more seasons. That narrative approach works for some shows, but these 10 K-dramas desperately need a second season, as they don't feel finished yet. 10. Vincenzo. The K-drama Vincenzo tells the story of the titular Korean-Italian mafia lawyer who returns to South Korea, where he tries to retrieve his fortune and exact revenge on a conglomerate. There's no question that Vincenzo is one of the best K-dramas of all time, and it desperately needs a second season. There's a lot more mafia storyline to go, and he even teases this with his statement about fighting evils in the world. The ending also separates Vincenzo from the Gemma squad. Vincenzo Season 2 needs to reunite the chosen family. What's more, the romance between Vincenzo and Hong Cha-young feels incomplete. The story isn't technically a romance, so there's no requirement to provide the couple with closure or for them to get together. However, their romance is so central that they deserve an ending of some sort. 9. Parasite, The Grey Image via Netflix. Parasite, The Grey is a masterpiece K-drama that can be watched in a single day. The story follows humans who try to survive after hostile parasitic aliens come to Earth, trying to take over human bodies and kill the host. Train to Busan director Yun Sang-ho did an incredible job adapting Hitoshi Iwaki's Parasite manga. Parasite, The Grey was one of the top 10 Netflix shows in 2024 in 91 countries. The director even had plans for a second season, which is why Izumi Shinichi appears in a cameo scene set 8 years after the events of Season 1. This makes it all the more shocking that Netflix decided to reclassify Parasite, The Grey from series to limited series. Unfortunately, this erases the possibility of Parasite, The Grey Season 2, but that doesn't change the fact that Yun should have had the opportunity to make it. 8. Vagabond. The K-drama Vagabond has an emotional premise that evolves into a larger mystery. A stunt person named Cha Dalgun loses his nephew, Cha Hoon, whom he raised since his parents' death, in a tragic plane crash. As he grieves the loss, he learns that the death might not have been an accident after all. Vagabond is an excellent K-drama ruined by the cliffhanger ending. Rather than solving the mystery of his nephew's death, the narrative shifts to Cha Dalgun's love interest. Because the central mystery isn't solved, Vagabond desperately needs a second season. Unfortunately, there have been contradictory and unreliable reports about whether Vagabond Season 2 will happen. The creative team and the network have remained tight-lipped about whether a second season will happen. 7. All of Us Are Dead. All of Us Are Dead is a compelling zombie horror story set within a high school. Based on merit alone, it's clear the show deserves a second season. What's more, All of Us Are Dead's ending reveals that this story is much bigger. Plus, the story introduces half-bees, zombie-human hybrids with enhanced powers, which it needs to explore in more depth. The reason this lands on this list, despite having a confirmed second season, is that it has been almost 4 years since the first season came out. We only just found out 3 months ago that All of Us Are Dead Season 2 is in production. Fans are understandably annoyed by the delay, which may result in a drop-off in viewership. Others have probably forgotten about it. Ultimately, this second season has been desperately needed for way too long, and the show might suffer because of it. 6. A Korean Odyssey. Based on the novel Journey to the West, A Korean Odyssey follows an immortal named Sun Ogong and a woman named Jin Seon Mi, who can see spirits, whose lives get intertwined. The story ends with Sun Mi dying in the arms of Ogong, despite his promises to save her. Then, he walks into the underworld, seemingly to find her. While not all K-dramas need a happily ever after, it feels like these two main characters earned one. As such, the ending of A Korean Odyssey Season 1 is a gut punch. As such, The Korean Odyssey needs a Season 2 that continues Sun Mi and Ogong's story. They need to answer lingering questions, such as whether the couple found each other and whether they successfully escaped the underworld. 5. Moon Lovers, Scarlet Heart. The fantasy romance K-drama Moon Lovers, Scarlet Heart Ryo follows a woman named Ha-jin who travels 1,000 years into the past, getting trapped at the end of the Goryeo dynasty in the body of a woman named Hasu. She starts out falling for Prince Wang Wook, but then develops a romance with Prince Wang So. Unfortunately, the ending leaves fans wanting. Ha-jin is sent back to the present day, and Prince Wang So vows to find a way back to his love. However, they never show this journey or explain how Wang So shows up in the present. Plus, the two don't get the promised happy ending. The hints aren't good enough. Moon lovers, Scarlet Heart Ryo fully warrants a second season that fills in the gap and gives a proper conclusion to Haijin and Wang's story. What's more, the show was successful internationally, so there's a built-in audience who would tune in. For Goblin. The romantasy K-drama Goblin follows a 900-year-old goblin named Kim Shin, who longs to end his immortality, which requires him to find a human to marry him. He sets his sights on Ji Eun-tak, a young woman who summons the goblin. Technically speaking, Goblin doesn't desperately need a second season based on its plot. The ending shows Kim Shin finding his reincarnated love, Ji Eun-tak. That's a satisfying ending. However, the story is so well made that Goblin needs a second season based on the quality of storytelling and the passionate fanbase. A second season could easily show viewers their romance after Ji Eun-tak's reincarnation. 3. Extraordinary Attorney Woo. The legal K-drama Extraordinary Attorney Woo is produced by ENA and released on Netflix for international audiences to much acclaim. The story follows an autistic woman who is hired as a rookie attorney at a major law firm in Seoul. The episodes show her navigating legal cases and her workplace.